So I didn't start filming myself at the range because I thought it would look cool. Honestly, I started because I had no idea what I looked like when I was actually shooting. In my head, everything felt fine. My grip felt solid, my cadence felt controlled, my shots felt decent, but felt doesn't mean much when you're actually trying to improve. So I set up a camera. Nothing crazy, just hit record and ran through some mags and some drills. And honestly, what I saw when I reviewed the footage was humbling, to say the least. Little things that I never would have noticed. Subtle mistakes, moments where I thought I was being consistent, but I wasn't. But at the same time, it also showed me something else as well. Progress. Not overnight and certainly not perfect, but real progress. And that's when it clicked for me. Filming yourself at the range isn't about making content. It's about seeing the truth. About seeing your form, about seeing your cadence, catching your mistakes, and over time actually seeing yourself get better. Plus, you also end up capturing moments that you'd otherwise forget. So if you're like me, still figuring things out, still trying to go from curious to capable, then this might be one of the most useful tools that you're not using. Okay, so form. One of the first things that I realized is that you don't actually know what you look like when you're shooting. And I don't mean to say that in a harsh way, I mean it in a really practical sense. Because when you're behind the gun, everything is based on feel. Your grip feels solid, your stance feels stable, your shots feel controlled. But the camera doesn't care about how it feels, it just shows you what's actually happening. I remember watching my footage back and catching things that I would have never seen in the moment. My grip wouldn't be correct, my trigger pull wouldn't be smooth, and I would focus on speed instead of getting good reps in. Nothing major, but enough to matter. And that's the part that surprised me. It wasn't necessarily that I was doing a lot of things wrong, but I was doing a lot of small things inconsistently. And those inconsistencies add up. When you film yourself, you start to see patterns. You can pause, rewind, slow things down, and study your form instead of guessing. It turns something that's usually instinctive into something that you can actually refine. And for me, that was a huge shift because instead of going to the range and hoping that I was improving, I actually had something to work with. Okay, cadence. Another thing that surprised me was being able to see my cadence, because in the moment it felt controlled, like I was taking my time, like I was being intentional and not rushing my shots. But as you can guess, when I watched the footage back, it told a different story. There were moments where I was speeding up without realizing it, shots getting a little sloppy, my rhythm breaking down as the string went on, and I would have never caught any of that if I didn't film it. Because when you're shooting, your brain is juggling a lot. Grip, sights, trigger, recoil, you're in it. You're not stepping back and thinking, hey, was that last string faster than the first? But the camera sees it. It shows your pacing, where you're hesitating, where you're rushing, and for me that was huge, because improving isn't always about shooting faster, it's about being consistent. Same pace, same control, same intention behind every shot. And when you actually see your cadence, you can actually start to fix it. You can slow things down, you can be more deliberate, or you can realize that you're being too slow and you're holding yourself back. It gives you something objective to work on instead of guessing based on how it felt in the moment. Okay, this is a big one, mistakes. Filming myself at the range helped me realize how many mistakes I was actually making. Not in a discouraging way, but in a really honest way. Because it's easy to go to the range, shoot a few mags, and walk away thinking, yeah, I think that felt good. But when you watch it back, you start to see the truth. Little flinches, inconsistent trigger presses, moments where your focus slips, things that are easy to ignore in the moment, but obvious when you slow it down. And weirdly, that's a good thing, because you can't fix what you can't see. Filming gives you something real to work on, not just a feeling and not just a guess. Okay, also memories. Filming yourself at the range isn't just about fixing things. There's another side to this that I didn't really think about at first. When you start filming your range sessions, you start capturing moments you would have otherwise forgotten. And I don't just mean the good shots, I mean everything. Like the days where nothing feels right, or the small wins that don't feel like much at the time. Because most of the time, range days kind of blur together. You show up, you shoot, you pack up, and a week later, it's hard to remember what actually happened. But when you film it, it sticks. You can go back and feel those moments again. What you were working on, what you were struggling with, what started to feel like it finally clicked. And there's something about that that makes it just more than reps. It turns it into something that you can look back on. Almost like a journal, but just in a different form. And this one is big, but also growth. This is where it really starts to matter, because now you're not just training, you're documenting your progress, and that's a big difference. Because improvement doesn't always feel obvious in the moment. You can go to the range week after week and feel like you're not getting much better. But when you have the footage, you can go back weeks, months, and actually see the difference. See your grip settle in, see your movements become more consistent, see your confidence start to build. Not all at once, but little by little. And that's something that you just don't get when you're relying on memory. Memory is biased, it forgets things, it smooths over details. But video doesn't. It shows you exactly where you were and exactly how far you've come. And for me, that's one of the most motivating parts of this whole thing. Because even on days where it feels like I'm not improving, I can look back and see I am, just not all at once. So yeah, I didn't start filming myself at the range because I thought I had it all figured out. If anything, it showed me how much I don't have figured out. But that's kind of the point, because getting better at this, or really anything, isn't about pretending that you're already there. It's about being honest with where you're at and being patient enough to show up anyways. For me, filming my range sessions gave me a way to do that, to slow things down, to see things clearly, and to actually track my progress instead of guessing. So if you're in that same spot, still trying to figure things out, still trying to improve like I am, then try it. You don't need a crazy setup, and you don't need to turn it into content or be an influencer. Just set up your phone, hit record, and be honest with yourself. You might not love what you see at first, I certainly didn't, but if you stick with it, then you might just start to see something else too. Progress. And if you're interested in that journey from curious to capable, then subscribe. That's what this channel is all about. If you enjoyed this video, then I would really appreciate it if you gave it a like. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you want to see more of me, you can follow me on Instagram at BridgeTactical. That has been all. I've been Jeffrey, and I'll talk at you later. Bye-bye.